Welcome back. Happy Monday, everybody. Welcome back into another edition of Prime Sports World coming to you on. We're coming to do a little bit early on a Monday because we got two Monday Night Football games that we're going to be breaking down tomorrow. I think the Titans and the Bills get started here within an hour. So we wanted to get this show done before the football started. If you're looking for consistent content on Facebook, YouTube, or Twitch, or our Twitter as well, Prime Sports World is a pretty good place to hang out. We go live basically every single day, giving you the most interesting, most up-to-date information that we can. I'm, of course, been David Huppin right there. It's TJ Hopkins. Also, I have shared the StreamYard link into all of the places. So if you want to join us and talk a little NFL action, more than welcome to do so. There's that link to that StreamYard action, including on our main Prime Sports World Facebook page. Happy Monday, TJ. How are you?
Sleepy. I just woke up, but I'm good.
Yeah. I had a long day. I usually put my sleep cycle through the ringer a little bit on the weekends, and so I usually go to bed at midnight-ish, but on the weekends I go to bed at 4 or 5 in the morning, and yeah, so Mondays are usually pretty rough for me. Just saying. But yeah, I got through a good day of work. It was the craziest grocery store trip. I've never seen a line that long at the grocery store. I just went to the Meijer close to my house here in Fort Wayne. But I'm sure you don't care about that. Let's get into the NFL action. Let's takeaways before we get into each individual game. Just your main takeaway from what we saw this weekend so far.
No lead is safe.
Yeah, ain't that the truth?
No lead is safe. We saw a couple comebacks. I think Vegas had a 20-point lead on the Cardinals.
They were up 20-3 at one point, and they choked away that lead and then lost in overtime.
Miami was down. Miami was down 21. I think it was 35-14, and they came back.
Yep. The Falcons almost came back on the Rams and made that interesting. The Bengals came back.
Detroit almost let Washington come back in it. That was a one-score game at one point.
The Jets came back and won that game against the Cleveland Browns. So we'll get into it. Yeah, for my takeaway, yeah, I think there might be some trouble there in Denver. I don't really know. They're not clicking like people thought they would. And, I know it's early, so they give them some time. But yeah, it's those Denver fans were not enjoying what they were seeing out there on the football field. Please like, share, subscribe. Also, it pays to have a really quality backup, as the San Francisco 49ers found out this week. Our thoughts out to Trey Lance. But let's get into it. Let's talk about Thursday Night Football. First game of the weekend, we had the Chargers going into Arrowhead and taking on the Kansas City Chiefs. This was a good game, back and forth action. Game ended. Basically, it was a game-sealing interception by Justin Herbert. Basically sealed the game. Justin Herbert, 33-48, 334 yards, 3 touchdowns in that pick I just mentioned. Nothing really doing in the running game. Averaged 3 yards a carry as a unit. Mike Williams, who had a great game here, 8 catches for 113 yards and a touchdown. Joshua Palmer and Xander Horvath had the receiving touchdowns for the Chargers. On the Kansas City side, Patrick Mahomes, 24 of 35, 235, 2 touchdowns. He threw an interception that was reversed due to replay. Clyde Edwards-Helaire, 8 carries for 74 yards, averaged 9.3 yards a carry in this game. So that's a pretty interesting development. Travis Kelce, 5 for 51, leading receiver for the Kansas City Chiefs. Justin Watson and Jerick McKinnon caught the touchdowns for the Kansas City Chiefs. TJ, takeaways from this game.
Holy bailout, Batman. But like obviously the controversial part of this game was the pick that was overturned by Asante Samuel, because everybody is like, if that's not a pick, then most diving interceptions aren't picks, right? Like if that pick is overturned, then a lot of interceptions are going to be overturned, should be overturned this season. Like, and I think that's the issue with replay. It's one of the issues with replay. It's always a judgment call. It's stuff like that. It's not by the book. It's basically the ref's opinion at that point. So it's like, yeah, you can go to replay, you can go to the replay offices and whatnot. But if they say like if what you call on the field is what you call on the field, then you're out of there. But Justin Herbert playing, I see the hit that he took.
Oh, it was horrible. It was rough. Also, welcome into the show, CEO of Prime Sports World, Mr. Ezra Rivera. But yeah, that hit that Justin Herbert took was brutal. He took it like right like a helmet, shoulder pads, right onto the rib cage, right into the like underneath the flank jacket. They wear. Like it looked bad. Like the fact that like I'm not sure how he completed the rest of the game. I don't know how he threw that pass.
Which one you talking about? The initial first hit?
Yeah, the first hit he took when he first got hurt. Yeah.
Because like
you're very low, by the way.
And the echo. But because by that point I had to drive and go to work, so I couldn't see the initial hit. But he played through it, and he has rib cartilage. He has torn rib cartilage, so he's day to day. So thankful it's not like broken ribs or anything like that. So, but they have the Chargers have other issues going on right now, namely a lawsuit. Well, I don't know if the Chargers themselves have to deal with that or just the team doctor, right? Like Tyrod Taylor suing the team doctor.
Yeah, I don't think the Chargers are worried about that. I think that'll be figured out.
That's like the team doctor. Like that's the doctor's issue, right? Like not the
right? I do think the team will have to deal with it, but it's not something that I think the team cares about. I think that the interception, yeah, sure, it was close. I could see it both ways. The ball, obviously, as soon as he made contact with the ground, there is a little bit of a jar there with the football. But I think that if that was a call that you called an interception on the field, I think you got to leave that interception.
You got to leave that.
I don't think it's clear enough that the ground allowed him to catch that football. Exactly. I just think you got to leave that call alone. It ended up being a turning point in the game. I mean, Kansas City, if they went out and scored basically the game tying touchdown after that drive. I mean, if that's an interception, Chargers go and they score again, probably at least 3 points, if not a touchdown, they win this game.
It's a 3-score lead at that point, and like
2-score lead.
Same thing, and like you get a touchdown the next play. So like you overturn that interception, and then you score literally like a play or 2 plays later. So it's that black cat. If you're the Chargers, it's like, yo, man, like come on, like every time, like it's always one of those, like it's always something. Like you saw Justin Herbert, like he was clearly hurt because he could have walked for a first down, and he just threw the ball into the ground.
He clearly couldn't get anything on it. Then the next play throws that bomb to Joshua Palmer, like it was a dart, like an absolute dime.
It just throws a dart, like it's okay, like okay.
That was a bizarre 2 plays, right?
Right? Yeah.
Like so hurt,
Like he couldn't run for the first down. He was so hurt he couldn't run because he could easily picked it up. Like he's could have picked up the first down just by running it, and he's like, "No, I can't. I gotta throw it away." Like, all right, man.
Like those 45-yard darts.
Yeah. Let's move on to Sunday. We're going to talk about this game a lot. I think that interception conversation is going to need to be had. I think officiating as a whole kind of had this conversation that we need to have again. As you can see, we talk about this every season, but like the officiating this week in particular, it was not particularly great officiating this weekend. So, moving on, we're going to go swing into Sunday. We got the New York Jets going into Cleveland and coming out with the W 31-10 or 31-30. This is a game that the Jets were losing by 17 points. They scored 2 touchdowns after the 2-minute warning to pull out the victory, the shocking upset of the Cleveland. I don't know if it was really a shocking upset given what Cleveland is right now, but the fact that the Cleveland let this lead slip away is pretty shocking. Joe Flacco, man, dusted off the clock, man, rolling it back. 26 of 44, 307, 4 touchdowns, no picks. Bryce Hall led the team in rushing. Is he's going to get out of that? Brees Hall. Sorry, Brees Hall. 7 carries, 50 yards. Garrett Wilson, a little bit of a coming out party for Garrett Wilson. 8 catches for 102 yards and 2 touchdowns. Corey Davis. 2 catches for 83 and a touchdown, and Hall had another touchdown in the air. Jacoby Brissett, pretty efficient, 22 of 27, 1 touchdown, 1 pick. Nick Chubb, big game for Nick Chubb. You own him in fantasy, he had a big game for you. 17 carries for 87 yards, 3 touchdowns. Amari Cooper had the lone receiving touchdown for the Cleveland Browns. But this is really about the comeback and the not quit attitude of the New York Jets.
So. Yeah, I watched this game. I mean, I had Red Zone. I was watching this game. I watched pretty much all the games, in a nutshell. This game was crazy. Joe Flacco, he was throwing some dimes out there. He was really finding this groove out there. Garrett Wilson. I think the biggest story is when I look at it, I look at the 2 running backs they got: Brees Hall, Michael Carter, and Garrett Wilson. They really got something there on offense with the Jets right there. That's a really talented combo right there, especially Garrett Wilson. I mean, Flacco looked like he was like looking for Garrett Wilson the whole game. And the fact that they just kept coming back, I just think when I look at Cleveland, man, they just got a little stagnant at the end. And then, not recovering that onside was big. Joe Flacco,
I obviously allowed them to win the game. So.
Yeah, not recovering that onside. I mean, you could have stopped them. I mean, you were down 4. You're up 4. You could have stopped them, but yeah, it allowed them to win the game. It's an incredible win for Robert Saleh, man. Doing it with a ragtag, with a veteran quarterback, not having your quarterback, with a bunch of young guys, man.
Without a doubt. Also, welcome into the show, Mr. Kristen Simpson. Welcome to the show, my friend. We're breaking down this Jets-Browns game. We got some insight on this game before we move on before TJ gets his. Oh, all right, TJ, go ahead.
I just remember when they upped Deshaun Watson's suspension from 6 games to 11 games, and we had to revisit the start of their schedule. We're like, oh, they're going to be all right. They're going to be good. Like Carolina, they should win that one. The Jets, they should win that one, and you let this one get away. I think they're trying to blame the game on Nick Chubb for not just sliding down. I think he scored like a touchdown, like a minute, like just under 2 minutes left, and they're like,
yeah, he did. Yeah, if he had taken the kneel, they would have lost the game. So they would have won the game. Like if he hadn't taken it in the end zone, they would have won the game, for real.
So I'm like, I don't get how that is his fault.
I mean, your defense still has to. You're up 2 scores. I mean, you shouldn't. It's easy to blame the running back that scored a touchdown, thinking he put you up 2 scores, and then your defense goes up and gives 2 touchdowns. Like that's not your fault.
Yeah,
that's lazy. They
just couldn't make stops down the stretch. And like I said, man, big credit to Joe Flacco, man. I mean, he put on a great performance, man. Veteran quarterback.
I ain't trying to hit that. That man, he's thrown the ball. He's thrown 103 times in 2 games.
Yeah, but 103. You gotta watch the game, bro. He was throwing darts all over.
You don't want Joe Flacco to be throwing the ball 103 times in 2 games.
This listen, I'm just giving him credit for yesterday's win.
Yeah. He's been fine. Christian, what's up? How
What's
are you,
going
buddy?
on? I'm good.
Welcome into the show, man.
Man, all right, what did I miss?
We're talking about the Jets and the Browns real quick.
Wait, hold on. TJ was being rude. What you say, TJ?
No, he was being rude, not giving Joe Flacco credit.
First off, Izzy, get that bass box voice.
First off, give credit where credit's due. Don't be sitting out. Don't be sitting up here not giving nobody credit.
You gotta get that bass box voice.
Joe Flacco was making some stuff happen yesterday.
But use your inside voice while I put you outside.
Anyway,
why you want to sound like his mama, man? You know what I'm saying? I brought your ass into this world. I'll take your ass out.
Anyways, let's just move on. Let's go swing into the NFC. Let's talk about the Commanders. We're going down into Detroit and coming out with an L. Commanders losing 27-36 against the upstart Detroit Lions. Carson Wentz, 30-46, 337, 3 touchdowns and a pick. Antonio Gibson, another good game, 14 carries for 28 yards and a touchdown. Not necessarily a good game. He had a touchdown at least. Curtis Samuel, Jahan Dotson, another touchdown, 3 touchdowns in 2 games. Logan Thomas, coming back from that injury last season, has another touchdown in this game. Out of the Detroit Lions side of this, Jared Goff, 20-34, 256, 4 touchdowns. Amon-Ra St. Brown led the team in rushing. He also led the team in receiving yards, 9 catches for 116 yards and 2 touchdowns. Josh Reynolds and DeAndre Swift had the receiving touchdowns as well for the Detroit Lions, man. This is a bit of a coming out party for the Detroit Lions here. Really played well. Christian.
Yeah, they really have. And I really like Dan Campbell because he's that coach that you would run through a brick wall for. Like, he's a player's coach. They all relate to him. He knows the ups and downs on what it's like to be a player because it's a long year. I mean, the Lions didn't get their first win until week 12 or week 13 last year. Now, look, they're already 1-1. Not saying they're going to make noise, but you could tell they're definitely a more improved team. The trajectory is pointing up.
Man, DeAndre Swift is elite. I'm gonna just say that.
Let's talk about Amon-Ra St. Brown, man. If you want to talk about somebody being elite, man, Amon-Ra St. Brown, dude, is so good. Like, he's doing stuff that hasn't been done in a Lions uniform since Megatron was there, and you gotta love that, man. And like, he's just building core pieces. DeAndre Swift, Amon-Ra St. Brown, they already have a great offensive line. I mean, as TJ talks about this, I mean, Jared Goff, I mean, he's a serviceable quarterback. This is a team that could be a sneaky dark horse playoff team if they continue to play like this.
Yeah, they'll be a sneaky dark horse playoff team if they continue to run the ball. I don't trust Jared Goff to throw the ball 40 or 45 times a game. Nah, you can't. I mean, you saw that in Los Angeles. He was a product of the running game.
Yeah, I mean, when he had Todd Gurley, eating 25 carries a game, running him into the ground, that's when they were successful.
Can I get back to DeAndre Swift?
What?
Can I get back to DeAndre Swift? He had some plays in that game where I was like, good God. He can be elite if he stays healthy. Like, DeAndre Swift can be a top 10 running back in this league. Easily.
Yeah. I mean, he might already be there. I mean,
he might already be there.
Well,
I mean, that running touchdown where he caught like it was like out to the flat. Where I thought that play was dead. That could have been a tackle for loss, and he turned it into a touchdown. It was remarkable.
Yeah, that was just bad defense on the Commanders' part. But I'm looking at this game, and it was a one-score game twice, right? Like you were up 22-0, then all of a sudden it's 22-15. So Washington is like, all right, we got a chance to win this. Then DeAndre Swift had the play that Izzy's talking about, make it 29-15. Then all of a sudden it's 29-21. And it's like, okay, we're still in this. And then you got a garbage time touchdown to make it 36-27. By that point, it's too little too late. You're relying on the onside kick, and onside kicks are not
13% conversion rate in onside kicks.
So yeah,
it's since the change of the rule.
If you need an onside kick in today's NFL, it's likely you ain't going to get that much. So
no, it's for sure not. Also, shout out to Aiden Hutchinson, rookie sack, 3 sacks in this game. Lions single game record for a rookie. So kudos for him.
What is it?
Single game sack record for rookies is 3 sacks set by Adrian Hutchinson. Never been done before in the history of the Lions
That's
franchise.
crazy. When you consider Ndamukong Suh was a rookie for the Detroit Lions and Nick Fairley.
Yeah.
Like that is crazy.
And he did in his second game, so let that settle in for you.
That's crazy.
Moving on from that game, we're going to swing into the NFC South, where we have some bad bloods brewing between Tampa Bay and the New Orleans Saints. Resulted in a Mike Evans suspension for week number 3. So if you have him on your fantasy team, you're going to have to come up with another option.
TJ.
I don't agree with that.
TJ.
Moving on.
Fantasy.
No.
Tampa Bay won the game 20-10. Tom Brady, 18 of 34, 190 yards and a touchdown. Leonard Fournette, 24 carries for 65 yards, 2.7 yards per carry. Mike Evans led the team in receiving yards with 3 catches for 61. He was ejected pretty early. Brashad Perriman had the lone receiving touchdown out of straight up dime from Tom Brady. And then on New Orleans side of this, Jameis Winston, we saw the bad side of Jameis Winston a lot in this game. 25 of 40, 236, 1 touchdown, 3 interceptions. And without Evan Kamara, this team really seemed to miss him. Even though Mark Ingram did average 6 yards a carry, it just wasn't enough. And Chris Olave, 5 catches for 80 yards. Michael Thomas had the lone touchdown on offense.
Yeah, David, to elaborate what you said on Alvin Kamara, you could tell, he's the workhorse for this offense, and he's your go-to guy. So if you need to check the ball down to that one guy, or you need those higher fought yards, that was Alvin Kamara. It makes a huge difference when he's on the field compared to when he's off. But this was a hard-hitting, physical football game. Tampa made adjustments when it mattered most. You saw Brady wasn't really hit too much, and it just seems like Brady's being more of a game manager now at this point. I don't think he's necessarily lost arm strength. He still has that zip and that velocity on his passes. But that defense has really come to play. Defensive line's playing well. I think Tampa has the best group of linebackers in the league. I think TJ even said that as well. And then their secondary is also playing better. But you also notice they're not blitzing as much, because if you know anything about a Todd Bowles coach defense, he loves to blitz. And they're playing with more control, and they're showing they can get home with just 4.
Yeah, this game was pretty much even affair until that little scuffle that happened with Tom Brady. I'm still not letting Tom Brady off the hook. He started something there. He was starting something. He was starting some ish there, right? But and then had his guys over there,
Marshawn Lattimore and Mike Evans do not like each other anyways.
Right. But what I was getting to was that type of situation can either galvanize a team or it can bring a team down, right? And you saw both sides of the fence. Pretty much after that situation, Tampa goes up Tom Brady throws that touchdown to Brashad Perriman, right? Mm-hmm. And then it's over from there, right? The Saints make a bunch of mistakes. Jameis Winston throws a pick in the end zone, if I'm not mistaken. So, that situation.
Well, I mean, that pick 6 happened right after that too. So
that was big, man. Well, so
the pick six kind of sealed that was the nail. So to Izzy wanting to blame Tom Brady for starting stuff. I'm not sure he started it, because from his point of view, all he saw was the receiver he threw the ball to get pushed in the back and out of bounds, right?
Fair enough.
So his point of view, all he saw was Marshawn Lattimore literally push Scotty Miller in the back and out of bounds, and it's an incomplete pass. So all Tom Brady really was saying was, how is that not, basically something along the lines of, why is that not PI, yah, woo, woo? And Marshawn Lattimore is walking past him as he's saying that, and he turns to Tom Brady and says something. Leonard Fournette was actually the one who started it, because he was the one who pushed Marshawn Lattimore away from Tom Brady.
And then Mike Evans finished
it. You goddamn right. And then Mike Evans came in and finished it, and that's all.
I mean, all he did was push to the ground. He shouldn't be suspended.
Okay, yeah.
I guess we'll talk about this a little bit more tomorrow. But that is not something you should suspend somebody for. I think it's ridiculous.
No. Maybe give him a little fine, man. But
you automatically get fined for an unnecessary roughness fall. Anyways, it automatically comes with a fine. Like
I don't know if it's
you get fined immediately. You automatically get fined.
So why are we suspending this man? If you know what I'm saying, you already done took out his some money from him, right?
It's not like he threw a punch. Everybody's like, oh, he threw a punch. Like, he didn't throw a punch. Like there wasn't a punch. Like it was just an aggressive tackle. Like
he just pushed him down. That's all.
Yeah, so I'm looking at it like it was 3-0 for a while, then 3-3. You know,
it was a tight game, man.
It was 3-3 well into the third quarter, and then all of a sudden the scuffle happens. Then a couple plays later, Tom Brady throws the touchdown to Bashad Perriman, another field goal, then the pick six, and then because like the pick that David's talking about, it was a deep shot to Chris Olave. Yeah. And Jamel Dean picked that one off. So that was the pick that Dave was talking about. The pick six didn't come well until the pick six didn't come until 4:11 left in the game. So
the Saints were already in desperation mode at that point. They didn't score their touchdown until the next drive.
Yeah, I was talking about he threw right after the Tom Brady touchdown to Bashad Perriman. He threw that interception in the end zone, which I thought actually wasn't. I honestly thought he had Chris Olave there, but it
was evident that that's something that they want to incorporate in there. Like every time they threw a deep ball, it was to Chris Olave, and it got to the point where it's like New Orleans is like, all right, dude, we know like every time you go deep, it's to him. So we're gonna send.
You got those young legs out there.
Hey, another thing you guys noticed, and I know David's got to go. Taysom Hill wasn't really, they didn't have any packages for Taysom Hill. I'm surprised they didn't use him, with Alvin.
I'm with you. I'm with you, Izzy, because he usually gives Tampa Bay problems. I mean, you just never know what you're gonna get from him. He's that Swiss Army knife of the offense because he can line up as a receiver. He can line up in the backfield and take handoffs, and he's effective in space.
He can't throw it too. He's got a rocket for an arm
when he wants to.
Right.
I'm not saying you're gonna ask him to throw it 30 times a game, but if you need him to make, he has a big arm.
You guys don't play daily fantasy, but in daily fantasy, he's a tight end, right, David?
Yeah.
He's a tight end. So that means he's like playing every damn position on offense except for offensive linemen. So
yeah, he basically does. Moving on, we're gonna swing into stay in the NFC South, but this time it's the Carolinas going into Christian's New York Football Giants house and coming out with an L. 19-16 Giants over the Carolina Panthers. Baker Mayfield, 14 of 29, 145 yards and a touchdown. Chris McCaffrey, 15 carries for 102 yards. DJ Moore had the lone receiving touchdown for the Panthers. On the Giants side of this, 22 of 34 for Daniel Jones, 1 touchdown, no picks. Saquon Barkley, 72 yards rushing. Ricky James, where they kind of found something nice in this kid. 5 catches, 51 yards. He had 6 targets, caught all but 5 of them. So good for him. What do we think about this, Christian? Go ahead.
They're not. There's no quit in the season. Yeah, I know it's only 2 games in, but you just see such a vast improvement compared to what you saw under Joe Judge and the Pat Shurmur and god awful Ben McAdoo. Because Ben McAdoo wasn't worth a damn, as TJ would say. Look. I'm also noticing. You look at all those years with all those coaches I listed. I felt there was way too much pressure on Daniel Jones back then. Now they're making it a point of emphasis to feed Saquon Barkley the ball, and that kind of makes life a little bit easier for Daniel Jones now.
Yeah, 21 carries in this game. It's a pretty healthy usage. Ran the ball 33 times as a team.
Yeah, you got to keep in mind that the last couple of years he hasn't been there.
Yeah, he's also not. But even when he's been healthy, TJ, they're not. They're dependent on Daniel to drop back, and he's running and he's tripping on wide open quarterback screens, and things like that. But nah, man. And on top of that, the defense, they're getting off the field, and it just seems like these guys want to play. For Brian Dable, he's well respected. He was well respected in Buffalo. You can see he's getting that same respect too in East Rutherford. And the Giants are off to that 2-0 start.
Well, a point that I want to bring up about the Giants and the Lions, respectively, is that schedule is starting to get is about to get a bit tougher, right? Like, especially for the Giants, you got a Dallas team coming in on Monday night, a Bears team trying to regroup. You play the Packers, you play the Ravens, up and coming Jags team, depending on depending on who you talk to, and so on and so forth. But it's you also got to remember Daniel Jones is playing for a contract, right? Like his option was not picked up, and all signs indicate now that this is the quarterback that they've been. This is the quarterback that the organization saw when they took him fifth overall, or I forgot what it was, right?
Seventh overall, something like that. Something like that. He was in the top 10 for sure. 8th overall, maybe.
So for him to come out and be 2-0 for the first time for this organization to be 2-0 for the first time, like what, 5 years or something like that?
If not longer.
If not longer, he ain't turning the ball over. He turned the ball over yesterday. He had one touchdown, no picks, no fumbles. Carolina, it is what it is, right? Better ball security. Y'all had 2 fumbles, and those 2 fumbles pretty much that was it. All right, like I think Robbie Anderson had a fumble, and then I think he had a fumble on the kickoff. I don't know if that was this game or the first game. No, that was this game. But yeah, 19-16, Baker Mayfield, you threw the ball 29 times, 145 yards.
Yeah, completion percentage is not what you're looking for. 50% completion percentage, just not going to get that done. It's just
but keep in mind, you want to okay the release of off the leash T-shirts that Kevin Stefanski has you leashed up like a dog. But yeah, 14-29, 145 yards. You're unleashed now, buddy. Next game.
Yeah,
look, I'll make y'all laugh. I'll make y'all laugh too when I say, man, this is the Giants' best start since that infamous boat picture.
There were a couple big fumbles, right? Between
yeah. Robbie Anderson and Chuba Hubbard had one too on the kickoff.
Yeah. It was just bad, man. But no, TJ's right, man. They need more out of Baker Mayfield. I mean, I wouldn't want to say they need more out of their wide receivers. Like I don't know what's not clicking there. I can't put my finger on it.
DJ Moore is the only one who seems to be showing up for them. Right now.
And I just don't see them like giving the touches to like that to Christian. Is it because they're scared to like Christian McCaffrey's not going to be able to withhold all these touches because they're not like getting him the ball like
their offense has just been bad like overall. I mean, their offensive line stinks. I mean, their tight end situation is kind of a mess. I mean, outside of DJ Moore, you don't really have anybody who's a real wild old pass catcher outside of like Bombs, Robbie Anderson. He's not. That's all you got. Yeah, I don't know. I think his offense is just. This is what we talked about. Their offense is not good.
Not good at all.
And Baker had a combined 19 touches, right? 15 carries, 4 catches, for a combined 128 yards. So he had 102 on the ground, 26 through the air. So I don't know. Like they got to figure something out because Matt Rule coaches for his job. So there's that.
100%. Moving on to the swinging into the AFC. We got the New England Patriots going into Pittsburgh, and they beat the Pittsburgh Steelers 17-14. Mac Jones 21 of 35, 252, 2 touchdowns, 1 pick. That touchdown he threw to Nelson Aguilar was a dime. More of a better catch by
Nelson
Aguilar than it was a dime for
that was just Nelson making an adjustment.
Man, right. Yeah.
Because think about it. The guy that was covering him wasn't looking back at Mac Jones. He was looking to get the pick. He was looking to get the pick, but Nelson just went up like Randy. And went up and got the ball.
Damian Harris, 15 carries, 71 yards, a touchdown. Nelson Aguilar, 6 catches for 110 yards, including that touchdown we just talked about. Mitch Trubisky, 21 of 33, 168, 1 touchdown, 1 pick. Najee Harris, kind of an underwhelming game here, 15 carries and 49 yards. And Deontay Johnson, 6 catches, 57 yards. Pat Freiermuth, caught the lone touchdown for the Pittsburgh Steelers, at least the lone offensive touchdown for the Pittsburgh Steelers. Gunner had the fumble. He's a former Patriot too, by the way.
Yeah, Gunner Olszewski.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, that was
Hit
a
him right in the face,
backbreaker for them. That was a backbreaker for them, man. Him dropping that, him muffing that punt was bad, man. Yeah. That was pretty much the game because if I'm not mistaken, they the Patriots kind of took hold, lead of that.
Go ahead,
Yeah.
man.
So my bad.
I guess that was this is audio making that noise.
No, it wasn't my.
No, it was Christian. The catch that you're talking about, I saw that. I think that was that right before half? No, that was after.
It was
That was right before half. That was right before half. So it was 3-3. Then all of a sudden that catch happens. Fun fact: the same dude that he caught that pass on, Aguilar Weatherspoon, was the same guy we saw for the San Francisco 49ers get burnt on one drive by Stephon Diggs and got benched for the rest of the game.
I remember
that.
Like Kirk Cousins, like, you know what? I got a fish on the hook. We're going after Aguilar Weatherspoon the entire drive, and he gave up a touchdown to Stephon Diggs. And
it was fourth down, I think, too, on that play.
Yeah, and we didn't see Aguilar. That's legit my first time seeing Aguilar Weatherspoon since that game. I am not joking. It's James Daniel, who former Chicago Bear, is now in Pittsburgh, came out and said that it's frustrating when your defense is on point and the offense just it's not clicking. It just keeps stalling because it's like nothing seems to be going right. And you're right there. It's 17-14 with a lot of time left in the game. Like, it's basically you got a whole fourth quarter to play, and you're right there, and you just couldn't even get the ball in the field goal range to tie the game. Right, like that.
Yeah, their defense gave them two opportunities after the touchdown they got to Pat Freiermuth. Both were 3-and-outs.
Like, that's
and
they
TJ
12 yards on those two drives.
And TJ, remember what I told you the other day? I think they have a better chance of winning football games, and that offense would look better if Kenny Pickett was starting.
I'm not so sure about that.
I told you that if Kenny Pickett was that dude, you start him day one.
You start him day one.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
There's nothing Mitch is. I don't think Mitch is not doing anything. The one pick he threw, I mean, it's him just trying to thread the needle. Like, it's not necessarily. It wasn't a bad throw. It was just like he's trying to thread the needle, trying to make a play, and somebody tips it up, and it's a touchdown. You know what I mean? It's an interception. So it's he's not playing bad, but he's not playing necessarily.
He's for sure just game managing at this point. Like he's not doing anything spectacular. Like,
right.
when they need him to go make a play to win a game, he can't do it.
Exactly.
Well, he did it a week ago. So, but that's the thing, like, right? It's 1 week he makes the play to help you win the game. Then the next week he doesn't do enough to help you win the game. So That's what it is.
And another thing, Najee Harris didn't look healthy in this game. So, when they get him healthy,
he's not going to be healthy again this season. Like, he's just going to have to work through this injury. Moving on to that, one of the more shocking results, not the fact that the Jaguars won the game, but how they won the game. Shocking. 24-0 over the Indianapolis Colts, and the bugaboo for the Indianapolis Colts of going into there in Jacksonville and trying to win is not going well for them. Matt Ryan may have had his worst game of the last 2 years, potentially. 16 of 30, 195 yards, and 3 picks and threw 0 touchdowns. Jonathan Taylor, 9 carries, 54 yards. Ashton Doolin, 5 catches for 79 yards, the leading receiver. Trevor Lawrence, really good game here, real efficient, no mistakes. 25 of 30, 235, 2 touchdowns. James Robinson continues to be the lead back here in Jacksonville. 23 of 64 for 1 touchdown. Kristen Kirk looking like he deserved that payday he got there. 6 catches for 78 yards and 2 touchdowns. Izzy, thoughts on this game?
And they made him they made Christian Kirk look like an all-pro out there, man. That's all. You know what, man? Hey, Christian, you said it. Indy's soft, man. They're super soft, man. I mean, they're not even nearly running the football nearly enough to even, I just
I mean, they're losing 24-0 by the time, like
no, I mean,
17-0 by halftime.
yeah,
You
but
gotta-
they're not establishing their dominance in the trenches, and that's the
Yeah,
reason, and that's the reason why Jacksonville was able to get confidence to get home. They were getting home on Matt Ryan all game, pressures, getting him off his spots. They were stopping the run. There's no reason why the Colts they were in what they were on a goal line situation, and there's no reason that you can't punch it in with Jonathan Taylor from the 1 yard line. Come on now. That's embarrassing.
I think the major problem with Indy is they're expecting a little too much out of Matt Ryan right now.
It's true. Huh?
Build this offense around the guy who dominated for you last year, and Jonathan Taylor. Like, you're getting away from what was keeping you in football games last year. Like, I'm just saying.
Yep.
I would seriously consider it because this season's going down the drain, real quick. I might make a move on the coaching situation because I mean, if they don't make the playoffs, Frank Wright's going to get fired anyways. But I would make a change at the coaching.
TJ, tell them about that quarterback situation. I brought it up yesterday.
Yeah, I was told that it was Carson Wentz's fault. That last season ended the way that he did. So Carson Wentz is gone. That means everything's fixed, right? Like that's, we're good now. No. So Jim Irsay made the bed, lay in the bed you made, basically.
I would seriously consider making a change to the coach.
Like it's like no. This is
not the coach.
I mean, there's no other quarterbacks they're gonna bring in. Like, there's nobody on their bench that can roll out. I mean,
this is all. You're not listening. This is all Jim Irsay.
Yeah, of course it is.
So you can blame Frank Wright. Like, you can blame him all you want. Like,
he's gonna get all the blame.
It's Jim Irsay. Like, it's always been Jim Irsay, right? So you're expecting a lot out of Matt Ryan. Okay, who the hell? No disrespect to him, the leading receiver for the Colts. Who's heard of him before today?
I mean, I heard of him.
Really?
Yeah.
Who's the leading receiver of the Colts? Who's the leading receiver? It's not Michael Pittman Jr.
Really?
Ashton Doolittle.
Where's he from, David? Exactly. Thank you, Izzy. Izzy, I appreciate your honesty. I really do.
I for sure knew who he was before. I mean, I don't know anything about him. I know he exists in the universe before today. Like,
he did. But no, David, I know you got to get on for this game. Not much more to talk about, but this. Can I leave this on this real quick? Man, look, quarterback class next year is looking good. What I would do if Indy, I'm like, it's time to start going to next year, go get you a young quarterback. Stop getting you these makeshift veteran quarterbacks to fill in the void, and if TJ's right. You had a younger quarterback kind of in his prime, kind of hurt a little bit, but Carson Wentz is much better suited for this offense than Matt Ryan is. True. And that's facts. And he had a good season last year. So, you get rid of him, you're on your third quarterback in 3 different seasons. That's not good.
Well, dating back to when Andrew Luck retired.
Yeah, it was 5 quarterbacks. Six quarterbacks.
6 quarterbacks in 6 years.
6
quarterbacks 6 and 6. Yeah.
It's insane. You need to go get you a young quarterback that you can
I mean, they could have easily done that if they hadn't traded for Carson Wentz in the first place. They could have easily done that last season. They just chose not to. Moving on from this game, we're going to stay in the AFC. We're going to stay in the most entertaining game of probably the entire weekend. Actually, I don't know. That Cardinal game was pretty good too. Miami 42 to 38, coming back, scoring 28 points in the fourth quarter to come back and win this game because Baltimore decided, hey, we're not going to guard anyone on defense. We're going to let Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle just be open, not guard them at all. Like, they're just going to be wide open. Tua, 36 of 54, 96, 6 touchdowns and 2 picks. Raheem Mostert, 11 carries, 53 yards. On the receiving side of this, Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle both had over 170 yards receiving and 11 catches and 2 touchdowns. And Mike Gesicki had a crazy athletic touchdown as well in the back of the end zone. on the Baltimore side of this, Lamar Jackson had a really good game here. 21, 29, 318, 3 touchdowns. He led the team in rushing with 119, 1 touchdown. Nobody else had over 20 yards rushing besides him. Rashad Bateman, 4 catches for 180 yards and a touchdown. Mark Andrews and Demarcus Robinson had touchdowns in this game for the Baltimore Ravens. And Duvernay had a punt return or a kick return in this game as well. Yeah, kick return in this game as well. But I think the reason that Baltimore was unable to close the door on Miami is because of their lack of a running game. Like they ran like Lamar Jackson had 119 yards rushing. Nobody else had over 20.
One of them came on that 70-something yard touchdown.
Yeah, 79-yard touchdown.
70-yard touchdown.
Don't matter. Hey, if you Miami, you gotta know like, hey, that's coming. That's coming.
Yeah.
But I mean, you're up 21. You shouldn't let that lead slip away.
No, you shouldn't. But I look at Baltimore, and they were just soft. They were soft. Go ahead, CJ.
I'll put it this way: I ain't putting this loss on Lamar.
Nah, you put it on. Nah, you can't.
He put out a virtuoso.
Put on, bro. Lamar Jackson is really, really good at football.
So
okay,
I'm not putting this on Lamar. Like because I'm saying like it's folks out there that want to like they're gonna use any and all excuses they can to try and dictate why Lamar don't deserve the money that's coming, like the max deal that's coming his way. And I'm like, Lamar ain't got nothing to do with the defense giving up 4 verts every play. Because that's pretty much what Miami did. It's like, hey man, we finna run 4 verts every play. And I'm throwing the 1 or 2 dudes. I'm either throwing the Tyreek Hill.
Like, it was literally getting to the point where like these guys are just wide open. Like nobody's guarding anyone. I'm like, okay, that guy's wide open, touchdown. Okay, like.
And my thing that really got me was you're putting a rookie on an island with a top 5 wide receiver. At least have some safety help over the top.
That's bizarre.
All Lamar Jackson got to say is 21 to 29, 318, 3 touchdowns, no picks, no fumbles, no nothing. 9 for 119 and the touchdown. Yesterday's price is not today's price.
Talk to him, nephew.
And Lamar Jackson, you know, and I will tell you, there are people. TJ's right. There are people that are trying to like say like, well, Lamar Jackson did all this, he got you there. But why couldn't he finish it? Why on those 2 drives, you know, the Tyreek Hill, the 2 Tyreek Hill touchdowns that, you know, the Dolphins had stops on? Oh, why couldn't Lamar Jackson make a 3rd down pass? You know, people gonna come up with all that stuff, but it's literally like your defense has a 21-point cushion. You just need to make 1 or 2 stops, and it's like, and then honestly, that last drive, Baltimore needed to punch that one in. They know damn well that Miami has all the momentum. You can't kick a field goal there.
Yeah.
Hey, I'll just say this. Anytime we talk about the Ravens, I started a new hashtag. Pay the man.
Pay the man.
Pay the man. That's all you got to say. Hashtag. Pay the man.
And if you're the Baltimore Ravens, guard people. Just like a little bit care. Like those guys are just wide open for like long touchdowns. Like Miami is scoring like that. Like you shouldn't be able to give up 28 points in a quarter. Like that shouldn't happen.
No, it shouldn't.
He's playing somebody online that was like a top 10 player in Madden, just throwing up some verts, some bull jive, and just somebody just catching it. You know what I mean? Like it was that ridiculous.
Moving into the late afternoon window, we got the Atlanta Falcons going into beautiful SoFi Stadium, coming out getting defeated by the Los Angeles Rams, 31-27. But the Falcons did come back and make this game interesting. Scored 17 points in the 4th quarter. This game was sealed by a Jalen Ramsey interception, which if you haven't gone and watched it, it is quite the interception.
He took it. He just took it from him.
It is a very nice interception. Marcus Mariota, 17 of 26, 196 yards, 2 touchdowns and 2 picks, including the one I just talked about. Cordell Patterson, 10 carries for 41 yards. Drake London, kudos to you. Got your first NFL touchdown. Also played really well in this game. 8 catches for 86 yards and a touchdown. On the Rams side of this, Matthew Stafford still throwing a lot of interceptions against a somewhat mediocre defense in the Atlanta Falcons. 27 of 36, 3 touchdowns, 2 picks. Darrell Henderson, 4.7 yards a carry and a touchdown. Cooper Kupp, 11 catches, 108 yards, 2 touchdowns. And Allen Robinson gets into the scoring touchdown scoring category with the his new team, Los Angeles Rams, with 1 touchdown. Only had 4 catches in the game, though.
David.
What?
A little too much red zone there. Talking about he got into the scoring touchdown montage.
Yeah, shit. I do watch the red zone because it's all whatever. But yeah, Jalen Ramsey sealed this game, but it is concerning that the Atlanta Falcons were able to come back and make this game somewhat interesting.
Yeah, it really is. And the problem I see with the Rams, they don't have a pass rusher on the outside. Like Aaron Donald should not be your best pass rusher coming from the interior. Where does 90% of pass rushing come from? The edge. And they missed that in Von Miller. You were hoping Leonard Floyd could be that guy, and maybe he can, but that's going to be the reason why the Rams don't repeat as Super Bowl champs or even get back to the
Leonard
Super Bowl.
Floyd, 0 sacks.
Yeah,
so far this season. 0.
Try to tell you. But no, it's 31-27. It what is it? You're up 21-3, 28-3, and then 28-10, 31-10, 31-17, 31-25, and then 31-27. Yeah, you can say it had no business being this close, but I don't think there was ever an instance of the Falcons were going to come back and win this game.
No, I never thought they were going to come back and win the game. But I think it's if I'm a Rams fan, I don't feel particularly good about this victory. Like you beat the terrible Atlanta Falcons by 4 points. Like whoop-de-doo.
No, I guess you can look at it this way. Like Drake London scored his first touchdown as a pro, so shout out to him.
They played well in this game too. I think he had a 2-point conversion too, or something like that. Yeah.
So yeah. I mean, obviously, if you're the Rams, you just gotta seal the deal better. I guess nothing much to take away from this. You beat the team you're supposed to beat.
Yep. Well, the Rams. Well, Sean McVay. He almost outcoached himself. I mean, that was a good smart play with the safety, but then kicking off the way he did, that was just. That wasn't smart at all, with that free kick. So, just saying.
Moving on to the San Francisco beating down the Seattle Seahawks in Levi Stadium, 27-7. The big headline of this game is the Trey Lance injured very early in the first quarter. Broken ankle, needed surgery. He's already had that surgery, came out successfully. Going to miss the rest of the season. Hopefully, you have a speedy recovery over there for Trey Lance. Some stats here. Geno Smith, 24 of 30, 1 pick. DJ Dallas threw a pick in this game, too. Rashad Penny, 6 carries, 15 yards. Tyler Lockett, 9 catches for 107. On the San Francisco side of this, Jimmy Garoppolo, 13 of 21, 154 yards and a touchdown. He also had a rushing touchdown. Kyle Juszczyk had a rushing touchdown for the San Francisco 49ers, too. Ross Dooley had the 1 receiving touchdown for the San Francisco 49ers. This game isn't really as much about this particular game. Obviously, San Francisco won. They won big. Let's talk about the Trey Lance, Jimmy Garoppolo stuff.
I think San Francisco looks like geniuses right now because everybody kept saying, yeah, let Jimmy go, let Jimmy go. Let's say if they did let him go, who'd be the starting quarterback right now for the San Francisco 49ers and this injury happens?
I don't know.
Not named Jimmy.
Right.
Somebody not named Jimmy G. I'm not saying it's his fault that he got hurt, but I watched the play that he got hurt on. He made the wrong read. Right? It was an RPO, it was a read option. He chose to keep it instead of handing it off to Elijah Mitchell, who looked like he had an edge wide open for him to make some damage, and it's just Trey Lance trying to prove why he was picked 3rd overall. All right, and I get it. He's coming off a tough loss a week ago. They're trying to make excuses for him. He's playing in the rain. All the interception he threw, the ball is already slipping out of his hand. Ain't nobody trying to hear that, dude. They mortgaged a decent chunk of the future for you, and you have to be. The return on investment has to be spectacular. So he's going into this game against a downtrodden Seattle team. I get it. They pulled off the upset in week 1, but they should beat they still should have lost this game, and they did. But that was just him trying to make a big play when it wasn't there. Just hand the ball off, and you live to play another game. Another game.
But yeah, with that being said, yeah, thoughts out to him. Yeah, they look like geniuses for not trading away Jimmy Garoppolo and restructuring his contract so he's affordable. So we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens next season. Because
so, like, David, to your point, like I ain't never seen a 1-year contract with a no trade clause. Like,
yeah, now Jimmy's got those incentives now, right? Now he gets like $250,000 or something like that. What's the incentive now? It's he gets some type of $350,000 bonus because he was a back. They see that he signed him on as a backup, so he's pretty much getting like $250,000, 350K bonus from a win. So he plays 25% of their snaps. He gets $250K plus another $100K if the 49ers win. So that's the incentive he has in his contract.
Man, moving on from this game, let's talk about the Cincinnati Bengals. Clearly on their Super Bowl hangover, falling to the Dallas Cowboys 17-20. Joe Burrow 24 of 36, 199 yards and a touchdown. Joe Mixon 19 carries, 57 yards. T. Higgins, the leading receiver, 9 catches for 71 yards and a touchdown. Cooper Rush 19 of 31, 2 for 3, 1 touchdown. Ezekiel Elliott 15 carries, 53 yards. Tony Pollard had the one lone rushing touchdown for the Dallas Cowboys. And Noah Brown had himself a little bit of a game here. 5 catches for 91 yards and a touchdown. This is a game that Cincinnati Bengals should have won. And they just didn't look good. Like, their offensive line, I know they spent a lot of money on the offseason, like in free agency, to try to address this.
They did?
It hasn't been good. It hasn't been good. Like, they gave up 6 sacks in this game. They gave up 7 in the game before. And this cost me a survivor pick.
Oh, poor David.
The one thing I can say is, I said it to somebody yesterday. You could get T.O. and you can get Ocho Cinco back, and it won't mean anything if your quarterback is in the dirt 9 times out of 10. Like, they have to do something, and they have to do something quickly, because this kid's going to get absolutely pummeled if he continues to get sacked.
I mean, they went out and spent all the money. It's just none of it's working. Like,
he's not gonna last a decade.
Nah, he won't.
Like, he's gonna be the next Andrew Luck. He's gonna
took the words right out my mouth, TJ.
He's gonna be the next. If they're not careful, he's gonna be the next Andrew Luck. And first thing, yeah, I get Dallas. I get that you won the game, but I swear to God, I thought Buddy missed that kick. Oh my God!
Me too, man. I thought for sure. I was like, man, he would just shake that. Like, and then I was like, oh, it went in. I was like, well, how did that go in?
Hey, bro, like, I swear to God, I thought he missed that kick. Because I'm like, oh my, because if he misses that kick and he goes to OT, yeah, Cincinnati's winning this game, because like they had literally stole all the momentum away. They had tied the game, and I'm like, oh my God, I'm like, because I'm watching it, I'm like, oh, it's going, he went in. I'm like, oh, he lucky, he is so lucky, but So now we got to hear Cowboy fans talk about Cooper Rush this, Cooper Rush that. I'm like, all right, okay, calm down. Like, there's a reason Cooper Rush is a backup. Not too sooner or later he's gonna remind you that he's
right.
Yeah, I hate that talk. I hate that talk, man. I hate that talk. He's a backup for a reason, man.
Trevon Diggs, he took it personal. He
definitely did take it personal.
Because all we heard back, like all he's been hearing going into this matchup is how he's been the victim of Jamar Chase cooking him since college, right? So he go into this game, he like just clank. Jamar Chase was nowhere. Like, when he was guarded by Trevon Diggs, 2 catches, 14 yards. That was Jamar Chase's numbers when Trevon Diggs was on them. So kudos to the Cowboys. You went in and you stole this one, basically.
Yep. Moving on from this game, let's talk about the Denver Broncos and the Houston Texans. Denver wins, squeaks out the victory, 16-9. Davis Mills is his guy, 19 of 38, 177 yards. Damian Pierce, 15 carries for 69 yards. Nico Collins, 4 catches for 58 yards. On the Denver side of this, Russell Wilson, 14 of 31, 261, 1 touchdown, 1 pick. Javonte Williams, 15 carries for 75 yards. Cortland Sutton was the leading receiver in this game for 7 catches for 122 yards. Jerry Jeudy got injured pretty early in this game and didn't return. And Eric Saubert caught the touchdown from Russell Wilson, which was a dime. But I'm overly just concerned about Denver's play calling in general, and just like Nathaniel Hackett just looks like he's way out of his element. I don't know. He just doesn't look like
he doesn't look like NFL. His red zone play calling is very questionable at most.
At best, dude. At best, totally questionable at best. Dude, like for real.
Yeah.
I mean, they beat up against a bad Houston Texans team, so they won the game because they're up against Houston. They just have more talent, but like if they go out and play like this against like a real team, like they're gonna get spanked for real.
Yeah.
This offense is stagnant. It's not even creative. Like
I'll even
very predictable.
And I'll even come out and say it right now. I think San Francisco beats them next weekend. Look,
I agree with you, Christian.
Look, I just because there's no chemistry right now between Russ and his receivers. They're not running the football. Defensively, that's what kept them in this game. But you're going up against a team that you should win by 2 touchdowns against.
3 touchdowns.
Again, 2 times in a row, 2 weeks in a row.
Yeah, I think the issue to address the run game, it's cool that you do the running back by committee thing or the 2-headed monster, but I think it has to be clear, set, and understood. Javonte Williams is RB1. Like, you have to establish that right now. Like, Javonte, from this point on, like from this day until the end of his days, Javonte Williams is running back 1 in Denver. Like that has to be clear, set, and understood. It shouldn't be this hard for this team to be moving the ball how it's looked the last 2 games. All right, like it's ugly. It's ugly. It's ugly.
And I feel like a lot of this could have been resolved if Russell Wilson just played a little in the preseason, like get all the cobwebs out and like get used to your new players and your new offense. Like not like he's one of the guys that could have benefited from a little bit of preseason, like just playing a little. Just working in those. I know people do get hurt in preseason. You don't want that to happen, but this offense looks awful. And they've got lucky. They played a bad Houston Texans team this week. They played a bad Seattle team last week, and they didn't win. And then they play a bad Houston team. They barely squeak out a victory.
Barely squeaked it out. Yeah.
The game
almost cost me a survivor pick.
If Davis Mills had some more weapons to throw to, man, they probably would have lost this game.
Yeah, we didn't have to target Brandon Cooks 5,000 times.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
The game against Seattle, again, I'm just chopping that up for coaching. Like that was just bad coaching for that game. But like, yeah, Denver got to figure this out, figure it out fast.
Yep.
This game too, questionable play calling, man.
Moving on to this game, the final game of the late afternoon window and the most entertaining game possibly of the entire weekend. Arizona comes and squeaks out the victory against the Las Vegas Raiders in overtime on a forced fumble, a peanut punch or a helmet punch, and then Byron Murphy takes it into the end zone. And then, Arizona 29-23. Kyler Murray, 31 of 49, 277, 1 touchdown, 1 pick. Darrell Williams, 1 touchdown. Kyler Murray also had a rushing touchdown. Greg Dortch had the receiving touchdown for the Arizona Cardinals. Derek Carr, 25 of 39, 2 touchdowns. Josh Jacobs, 19 carries, 69 yards. The touchdowns were caught by Darren Waller and Devontae Adams. But Devontae Adams only had 2 catches in this game on his 7 targets, so not really what you're looking for.
12 yards.
Yeah.
So the Raiders have never heard of a word called containment. When you play a quarterback of Kyler's caliber, you got to keep him in a pocket. So I'll just say this. If you can't contain Kyler Murray, what the hell makes you think you're going to contain Russell, last name Wilson, when you play him later in the year? Because they're kind of cut from the same cloth. Kyler likes to move, and Kyler can extend those plays. Like, you got to keep him in a pocket somehow, somewhat.
That rushing touchdown he had for the first 2-point conversion was just the play lasted 20 seconds. He ran for 80 yards on the play.
It gave me that play that you're talking about. It gave me Mitch Trubisky versus the Patriots vibes. Right? He's just looking, he's scrambling backwards, and all of a sudden he's like, "Oh, the entire left side of the field is wide open. Let me just run, and I'm going to score. And Christian, you know where I'm going with this. We know a guy in this group that we're in. He just talks about everybody else's teams like they trash. I'm like, bro, like your team lost on the Super.
Like, look, you know what? I personally don't care. So
I don't either. But
like, look, don't let this suit fool you. I still
we in the business. Right, we in the business.
Look, TJ, can I give them some gospel real quick? May I? Can we open the doors of the church real quick? Yeah, so this guy, David and Izzy, went on a rampage last week. Colts suck, Cowboys suck, Bears suck. You know, I mean, everybody sucks but the Raiders, but his team lost. And then he even went on to say, you know, the Colts are trash. And then we have a Colts fan that's like, you know, we still got a better record than y'all. Yeah, and then, you know, when I call him out, he wants to deflect. He goes, "Oh, you going to support a team this year?" I'm like, man.
Your Giants are undefeated.
I'm 2-0. I'm like, nah. He's like, nah, let's talk about team. Like, nah, when someone calls you out about some shit, you
deflect.
You don't deflect. You don't deflect. That's only gonna make you look worse.
No, I thought you was talking about him. My bad.
He was deflecting. He did deflect. You were right. Like, come on, man. Like, nah. Have you not heard of the saying, "Don't throw stones from a glass house"?
Wow.
But yeah, I mean, this is one of the games. I mean, they had a big lead in this game too. Las Vegas was up 20-3, and basically let this game slip away. I actually think after the Aces won the championship, I don't think the Raiders scored again in this game.
Oh my god!
Like.
Wow.
Like I'm pretty sure they only had a field goal. Like they did not score again after the Aces won the chip.
Wow.
I was thinking about that today. Like I was like, man, what time was it that the Aces won the championship? Because like right after that happened, like the Raiders kind of fell apart. Like maybe you're just sacrificing one team for the other. Like,
well, shout out to Mark Davis actually being there in Connecticut when the Aces won the championship, because that is his team, and you know everybody wants to. I'll save it for when we do the crossover, David. So there's that. Yeah, it's you're 0-2. I think I haven't heard the whole segment, but I think I'll listen to it tonight at work. First Take had a segment where they like who's the most disappointing team after 2 games, and Stephen A. Smith said the Raiders. I didn't go into his rationale into why he picked the Raiders because they're 0-2. The Bengals are 0-2.
I mean, the Colts have 2 easy games and he couldn't win either.
The Colts are 0-2. The Browns are 1-1.
I mean, just because we got to keep this kind of brief, but I think the Bengals are the most disappointing team for sure.
I mean, you're not wrong. You're not wrong.
He chose the Raiders. Obviously, if you're the Cardinals, the new shiny toy, right? All right, Buda Baker and whoever my top corner is, you are seeing Devontae Adams all game. I don't care if Hunter Renfrow go for 300. Like if Hunter Renfrow breaks any kind of receiving record against me, and I lose that game, you know what I do? I walk to the middle of the field, shake his hand, shake Derek Carr's hand. Hey, good GG, see y'all down the road. It is what it is. Same thing with Darren Waller. Same thing with Josh Jacobs. If Josh Jacobs runs for 300 and I lose, hey, GG's, see you down the road. But Devontae Adams is not beating me. Point blank, period.
I mean, that's basically that's what the Cardinals did, basically.
Anybody but him. So
anybody but him.
Izzy, you kind of got your get back from a week ago because he was held in check today, but
I bet today he's finding ways how to get traded back to Green Bay.
He ain't.
Stop it. Moving on to the final game, the Sunday night game. We got the Chicago Bears going into Lambeau and taking it 27-10. Justin Fields 7-11, 70 yards and a touchdown and an interception. The interception came pretty late though when they were in kind of desperation mode. David Montgomery had a real good game here, 15 carries for 122 yards. Justin Fields had a rushing touchdown. Probably should have had another, but that's neither here nor there. Acquainted St. Brown, leading receiver for the Bears, 2 catches for 39 yards. Aaron Rodgers kind of bounced back here. Aaron Rodgers, 19 and 25, 2 touchdowns. Aaron Jones, their running attack was just gouging the Bears over and over again. 203 yards were rushing for the Green Bay Packers combined. Sammy Watkins, 3 catches for 93 yards. Alan Lazard and Aaron Jones had the receiving touchdowns for the Packers. I just think, the Packers are just better than the Bears. It played out the way. It's just the way this is how it goes. The Packers are deeper. They're more talented than the Bears are right now. The Bears are in a rebuild. You're supposed to win this game, Green Bay.
You're supposed to win this. Like that's why I don't understand the jabs and the trash talking on social. Like y'all are supposed to win the game.
Okay.
Y'all are supposed to win this game, bro. Like I don't get what y'all are talking. I don't get.
Man, look. Hey,
hold on. You get a minute because we're gonna keep this brief.
I don't get a minute, man. I'm not even gonna take a minute. Hey, Christian, I'm gonna just keep it short. I was so tired, by second quarter. I fell asleep midway through second quarter. I woke up at halftime. The game was over with already.
Look.
Okay.
Hey, you know
no
what?
No need to watch the rest of the game. The game was over with already. Okay. So,
do I need to play the clip? No,
you don't need to play the clip.
You sure?
Yeah, I mean, this is the game the Packers should have won. They should have. This is a get-right game for Green Bay for sure. Their offense looked efficient. Their defense looked awesome. So this is what's supposed to happen. I still think if you're a Packer fan this morning or this afternoon or evening, whatever it happens to be, that run defense is still got to be something you got to be worried about. I mean, the Bears averaged 6.7 yards a carry in this game. And if it wasn't for a really bad play call on that 4th and goal situation, which probably was a touchdown by the Chicago Bears.
That was a horrible play call by Matt Eberflus.
He doesn't call the plays for the offense. He doesn't call the
plays for the offense.
But yeah.
Well, whatever. Dude, whatever. Who's your offensive coordinator?
Getsy.
Getsy? Yeah. Why would you put a 6'3", 4" quarterback in shotgun?
I mean, if you're gonna put you do a shotgun, bootleg him out, like do something a little more creative than just smash him into the line.
Do a quarterback sneak, bro. Put him under center and let him just jump over the pile, or let him just reach the ball over the. That's how far you were.
I don't understand I don't understand that either. Like, not just, I'm not saying about this game, I'm just saying in general. I never understood just pounding it in the up the middle. I'm like, dude,
it's not college. Like where you
go over Christian McCaffrey did in week 1. Like I saw Christian McCaffrey literally jump over both lines and scored. And I'm like, and to David's point, if it's maybe it was a touchdown, maybe it wasn't. I don't know. The problem that you have is you left it up to the refs. You left it up to them, and it if he scored, it wasn't enough to overturn the call on the field. So you cannot, in that situation, you cannot leave it up to them, because 9 times out of 10, what they call on the field is the result you're going to get. Do I hate that he challenged that call? No, because you had to. But
absolutely.
I mean, if you get that touchdown, you're back in the game. By the way,
if you get that touchdown, you are definitely back in the game.
Chris Collinsworth and Chris Collins, they were really trying hard to make it seem like the Bears were still in this game, for majority of the third quarter, even though they weren't doing anything on offense. They're right back in it. I'm like, no, they're not right back in it. Stop.
No. If they score that touchdown,
they had that guy.
If they score that touchdown, they do have a side chance, because second half of the game. Green Bay was just on cruise control. They were just trying to get up out of there.
Yeah, it's true.
Hold on, wait. Before we go, what I don't understand is we are not going to know nor understand who or what these pieces on offense are if Justin Fields you don't let him throw the ball. He threw the ball more times last week in the fucking monsoon than he did on the clear night in Green Bay.
Yeah,
that can't happen.
11 times. I mean, come on, open the offense up a little bit.
Cooper Rush threw the ball 31 times. Cooper Rush.
And Cooper Rush isn't a franchise guy.
Threw the ball 31 times. So like,
well, I mean, you gotta look at it though too. Like David mentioned it, man. Green Bay's rush defense has not looked
care.
great, or
throw the ball. You gotta throw the ball.
They have not looked improved. I thought they would be improved this year, but they have not improved. So they wanted to run the football. That was the game plan. It looked like.
Any final thoughts before we put a bow onto this? And Monday Night Football is going on right now, so hopefully you guys all get to enjoy it. Any final thoughts on week number 2? We're going to be breaking down Monday Night Football tomorrow.
Yeah, Green Bay. Who they play next? Tampa.
Yeah,
they play Tampa. Ooh. We'll talk about that. We ain't worried about them. We ain't worried about Tampa over there.
Should be.
No, we ain't worried about Tampa.
You know Mike Evans, man.
I'll put my thoughts on it. Is week 2 just like is week like the Dolphins? They were like the most. I guess their offense is so explosive right now. To me, is this gonna be a new thing with like Tua? Like, is he like?
No, it's not.
It's just the Ravens being bad defense. That's all.
That part.
So that's what we're looking for.
It's probably a mixture of them both. I mean, the Ravens defense was atrocious, but Tua was very good.
You gotta keep very good. They were down 21. They were down 21.
He brought him back.
Like you were down.
He brought him back on the backs of the worst defense I've ever seen in my life.
Like you were like no, so like stop saying he was very good. Like Christian said it best. They took their foot off the gas pedal. They got complacent, and they like you were down 21. So Miami looked like it didn't look like they did anything different from when they were down 21. Like they were down 21. So no, it is like. I got a homie on Twitter. He's like, if we got Madden, got to give Tua his Madden boost. No, they don't. Like,
I think Miami could be. I think Miami will stay in that top 5 offense.
You know who Miami play next week?
They play the Bills.
Buffalo. Yeah. So get down 21 to Buffalo. I dare you. Get down 21 to Buffalo.
And with that being said,
we'll be back here tomorrow breaking down Monday Night Football, which is happening right now. And we will be breaking down week number 3, giving our predictions. I've been David Huppin. Right there is Mr. CEO of Israel Rivera, TJ Hopkins, and Christian Simpson of DailyBlitz.blog. Thank you very much for joining us. We'll be back here tomorrow. What do we do here, gentlemen, at the prom?
We bring the heat, ladies and gentlemen.
Bring the heat.
Yes,
and
sir.
the Green Bay Packers coming, too.
Stop it.
Don't bring up Tampa Bay, TJ.
We'll see you guys tomorrow. You guys all enjoy the games.
Well,
Peace out.
They have a 2-game win streak against y'all, so I'm being